It's not just about having billions of naira to set up a palm kernel crushing facility. You can have all the money in the world and you end up blowing it. We're now going to talk about the economics, how these things work. We are going to find out the average cost of getting the palm kernel, how you sell it, everything about money. We are talking about money. So if you're interested in learning how to run the facility, watch this video. So, sir, yes. I want you to walk us through the economics of how much palm kernel someone can buy and everything related to it.
Yes, as I have earlier told you in the video, I told you the palm kernel business is CPKO, crude palm kernel oil, is a lucrative business. If you want the breakdown, I will still make it available to you for you to have a clear understanding of what we are saying.
Okay, so we want a full breakdown of the cost of everything when it comes to palm kernel or palm kernel crushing.
Yes, at present, a ton of palm kernel goes for 720,000 naira. And if you want to get 1 ton of kernel, that 1 ton of kernel, if you want to get 1 ton of oil, that 1 ton of oil will take 2.5 tons of kernel. Then when you check the price of 1 ton of kernel, 720,000, you check it 2 tons will give you 440,000 naira. You check the half is 350,000 naira. So 2.5 tons of kernel will be bought at 1,800,000 naira. Then you ask yourself, what is the cost of oil? The present cost of oil, we know too well that the price of oil gyrates, that it fluctuates. So at present, they are buying oil at 2,220,000 naira per ton. Then when you check that, you now crush. After crushing the 2.5 tons of kernel, you will get 125 bags of PKC. That is the cake. And each bag of cake is 50 kg. 1 ton of kernel crushed will give you 10 bags of PKC. That is palm kernel cake. That is the full meaning of that acronym. If you check that, the 25 bags generated will give you 125,000 naira. If you check all these things, you check your income, the money generated, it will give you 2,345,000 naira. That is to say, you have to make a calculation. I have given you the breakdown. That is, a ton of oil goes for 2,220,000 naira. Have you seen that? So 1 ton of this oil will be generated from 2.5 tons of kernel, as I have earlier told you. Now, when you look at this, you will discover that you are going to, the income you will get is 2,345,000 naira. That is your income. Then, when you subtract the amount used in procurement of the kernel. When you subtract that, you will have a gross profit of 545,000 naira. A gross profit of 545,000 naira. Why do I call it a gross profit? I call it a gross profit because you haven't deducted all associated expenses while running the business. Now, the associated expenses are put at 250,000 naira. It will take you about 250,000 naira expenses in production of 1 ton of oil. So you deduct that. When you deduct it, you will now have what we call a net profit. If you deduct it, you will have 295,000 naira as your net profit. So you can see that palm kernel business is a lucrative business. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that explanation. In fact, we are now talking numbers. So if you are interested in learning about how to make money out of this is the time you should pay keen attention. You mentioned that the gross profit is going to be 545,000 naira.
Yes.
Now, the expenses you paid that 250,000 naira.
Yes.
Could you give us what are the expenses that someone will be making that will go as high as 250,000 naira?
Yes, you are expected to pay your electricity bill. Number one, you need to pay the workers you have hired. Yes, unless you can't pay for workers if you are doing the business alone. Maybe a one-man business. So there are no workers to pay. In fact, there are workers to pay in the sense you can pay yourself. Because you are in the real business term, you are a worker there. You are expected to pay yourself. You pay that, number one, the electricity bill, the salaries or wages of the workers available. Okay. Then the other minor expenses you have made. You are also going to include your fare because you may not sell the oil in your crushing mill. You may take it to those companies that are, producing groundnut oil or producing soaps. Unless the only thing that will make you not to add your fare is if you have a customer that comes directly to your company and picks the oil. That is when you won't put your fare. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Now, this 1 ton of palm kernel oil, that is 1,000 liters of it. How long does it take to produce it? That's for you to crush 2.5 tons of palm kernel. How long does it take?
Yeah, it will take you only but a day. Even if there is a constant power supply, you have power supply and you have a strong machine. If you start in the morning to crush, before afternoon, you have rounded off.
You have gotten up to a ton of palm kernel oil.
Yes.
So it's actually very possible for you to get it in 1 day.
Yes, very possible for you to get it in 1 day.
Okay. Now, let's do a bit of calculation.
Yes.
How do you on this calculator? Yes. Okay. So, if we are working with that it is, for now, we are going to ignore the expenses for now.
Okay.
Because the salaries are not paid per ton that those people produce. They are paid at the end of the month. So, in a month, it's possible that, so let's do a little bit of calculation. Yes. So, if you're able to be grossing 545,000 naira, it's like this calculator will work better in your hand. Could you be doing the typing yourself? 545,000 naira. Yes, 545,000 naira. Let's say you could only produce a ton in 1 day.
Yeah.
Then, and you were able to work 5 days in a week. Out of 7 days, you were able to work for 5 days.
Yeah.
So times 5. you are looking at 2,725,000 naira in 1 week.
Yes.
That is, if you can run that your facility for 5 days out of the 7 days. We are trying to use a very conservative approach here, so that's not to present a very bloated figure. Now, in a month, that is times 4. You are looking at roughly 10,900,000. Remember, this can only be achieved if you produce at least 1 ton of PKO in 1 day. And normally you should be able to produce more than 1 ton of PKO. Yeah, so it means that it is actually possible that at the end of the month you can actually be hitting 11, 12, 13 million depending on your ability to crush palm kernel. And from here, when you now calculate your expenses, your power bill, the salaries and so many things, you still have a substantial amount of money left behind. I think I'm correct, right?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
Okay. Now, when we have, when someone is having this kind of figure, before the person goes in, one of the things you mentioned is staff. How do you get staff and how do you train them?
Yeah, staff. Some staff can come by themselves. You see job applicants coming in to know whether there are vacancies for them to fill up. We get staff through that procedure. We get staff by telling the staff domiciled in our company to talk to their friends and acquaintances outside if they want job. So those our staff that are domiciled in the factory can talk to their friends, talk to their kith and the kin, and they can come and they start to work with us. We, the administrators, also make calls to people outside. We don't normally write something on our board and the place that we are looking for workers. We don't normally do it here, but we are not saying that it is wrong. Yes, we are not saying that it is wrong, but it is not our approach here in getting staff. Thank you.
All right. Now, back to this figure that we got here at 10,900,000 in a month, working with the ability that you can actually crush a minimum of 1 ton in 5 days. Remember, if you're having shifts day and night, you should do more than a ton, but we're using a very conservative approach here. What we didn't factor in the cost of, let's say, diesel. Does it mean that in this your facility, you people don't use diesel? And why don't you use it if why you didn't add it?
Yes, here we don't use diesel because of the price of diesel. When we started newly, we were making use of a big generator and we were using the diesel. But we discovered actually that we weren't making it because the diesel was taking a greater part of the money. Then we decided to go for a transformer. Here we have a transformer and we get power from the APL. APL is the power station here that supplies us with energy for our work. Thank you.
Okay, so what is your advice for someone that wants to set up this facility and in the location he's trying to set it up, there is no light?
Yes, one who wants to set up this type of business must go to a place where he or she thinks that such an area has power supply almost every time. Such an area has an uninterrupted power supply. You know too well in Abia State here, if you look at, I think they are calling it 33 line. This 33 line has power from time to time. So if you are trying to set up this type of business, you go to a place that has power from time to time. There are areas that are not experiencing power. So you don't need to cite this type of business in such areas. Have you seen that? Thank you very much.
All right. So, based on this analysis, what is the most profitable time in the year to do this business? Between January to December, what time of the year is it most profitable to be in the palm kernel business?
Yes, from October, November, and the rest of them, you do the business much better during the dry season than in rainy season.
Now, what are the financial mistakes you would advise a newcomer or a new investor in this palm kernel crushing business to avoid? What are some financial mistakes the person is prone to falling into?
Okay. Yeah, the financial mistakes the person is expected to take care of is the person is expected to know the price of oil at any given time to enable him to know the amount he is going to buy kernel. He may be buying kernel at a high price, thinking that the price of oil is still high, without knowing that the price of oil has fallen. That will bring a kind of miscalculation in his financial management. He will lose some money in the process.
What tool do you use to track the palm kernel you are crushing, or how do you track the palm kernel you are crushing and how you are selling? How do you track it so that you don't mix up the data and know when you are profitable?
Okay, yes, we put them in badges. We put them in badges. We may begin to buy. This person will bring 1 ton, we buy. The other person will bring 2 tons, we buy. The other supplier will bring 5 tons, we buy. As we are buying, at a point, we will say it's okay, we won't buy again. We may tag this one as the first batch. We begin to crush. When we discover that we have almost finished crushing that first batch, we begin to place an order for additional kernel. And that kernel that is coming now is going to constitute into second batch of kernel. We won't be able to mix it with the first batch of kernel. Otherwise, the calculation of the business will be very difficult.
Who determines the price of this PKO at the end? Is it the buyer or the seller? And how do you ensure that you get maximum price?
Yes, it is the companies that are buying the oil. They always determine the price of the oil.
They are the ones that determine at how much they are going to buy from you.
Yes, you hardly bargain with them. When you call them, how much is oil now? They give you the exact amount, and you don't bargain. They won't say, okay, bring it, let me add 1 naira. Bring it, let me add 2 naira. There is nothing like that. They will tell you the exact amount of the oil.
What is the minimum number of workers you need to run a palm crushing facility?
Yes, the minimum number is 2. That is to say, 1 person, okay, let me say it is 3. Why I'm saying that it is 3, 1 person will be taking care of the toaster. 1 person will be taking care of the toaster. The other 2 persons will be taking care of the machine. 1 person will be putting the kernel into the machine, while the other person will be collecting the chaff of the kernel away from the machine. So, but if you are making use of there is one they are calling upper, and that one fills the machine with kernels. People, human beings or workers don't normally in these big companies don't normally go and collect kernels and begin to put into the funnels of those machines. No, there is something they constructed that the machine fills the expellers with kernels.
A lot of palm kernel crushing facilities we have visited, we noticed they are using the locally fabricated expellers, and which we know crushes only once. What do you have to say about it? Do you think they are making something out of it, since they cannot crush twice? And what is your advice for people that are going into it?
Okay, yes, I've asked some of them. Some of them are telling me that they are making it. So they are making it in the sense that they don't have workers they are paying. That's number one. Number two, they don't have a transformer. Yes, the locally fabricated machines, you can run them in the absence of a transformer. That is to say, you go maybe to the village light, you now connect a light to your machine. This one doesn't call for the idea of buying a transformer. When you buy a transformer and begin to run that business, the electricity bill you are going to pay is bigger than the electricity bill you are going to pay when you get your light from the community. You pay only community bill, maybe 2,000 naira or 3,000 naira. But one who has a transformer is paying up to 80,000, up to 100,000 naira. And that is why it looks like those people that are using locally fabricated machines are making it somehow.
What quantity of oil can be gotten when you just do first crushing? And what quantity should you expect when you do second crushing?
Yes, if the kernel is shellless, in the sense that it doesn't have any shell, you'll be getting, since 2 drums of oil are 40 liters, you'll be getting so 2 drums of oil are 400 liters rather. 400 liters. You may be getting up to 380 liters of oil if the kernel is shellless. Now, if the kernel has shells, you may be getting you may be getting 350 liters, thereby losing 50 liters of oil because the kernel is full of shells. Okay. The only thing is that your cake will go beyond 10 bags. Remember, I told you earlier that now 1 ton of kernel will give you 10 bags of cake. Therefore, you may get up to 11 bags of cake. Because any kernel that gives you oil will reduce in its cake. But if it doesn't give you oil, that means it is full of shells. The cake may increase somehow.
All right. Yes. Now, final question before we go. For someone that wants to invest, let's say 100 million into setting up this kind of facility, a palm kernel crushing facility, from your experience with all the difficulties, the challenges the person is going to face, how long do you think it would take the person to recover his money?
If the person puts up to 100,000?
100 million.
Okay, 100 million. Okay. How long it will take the person to recover his money? Okay. Well, it depends on how fast the person is. I am thinking that there are people who are fast in business. I'm thinking that there are people who are slow in business. Those who are fast in business, they crush more and they go to market to sell their oil more than those who are slow. So, if you are very fast in the business, God helping you, you have a constant power supply, bet you me, within 1 year or 1.5 years, you have recovered your money. You have recovered 100 million naira. Now, if you are very slow, You go to market to sell oil once in a blue moon. It may take you up to 2 years for you to recover your money fully and completely.
All right. Yes. Now, thank you very much for this session, and you guys have learned and seen the economics, how these palm kernels are gotten, the amount is gotten, how it is processed, the amount is sold. We have broken everything down for you so that before you start pressing calculator or jumping for joy that you want to do this business, you need to have a good idea of what you are getting yourself into. Are you going to focus on only first crushing? Or do you want to do both the first and second crushing? We have talked about power, which is a very major problem, and how you can resolve it. Now, we are going to be holding an interactive session on the 1st of June 2025. This session is going to be held by myself and the manager here. We are going to walk you through this setup. Before you bring in your money, before you bring in those millions of naira you want to invest, you might be in diaspora, you might be in the country, you need to be part of this session so that you understand everything about it so that you don't lose your money. So if you're interested, reach out on the number on the screen and register for the session. Thank you very much.